Tech Syndicate!
Hi, everybody. I've just woken up the entire building. I'm sure that someone will be here in just a moment. But until the cops show up, we've got about 15 minutes to do a show. This is not the tech. Sorry, guys. For people who thought when Tech Syndicate came back, the tech was going to come back, maybe. And, as we grow, I promise that I will hire someone to do the tech when the Patreon gets big enough to support that other person. That's where the money's going, 100% to hiring extra personnel to facilitate more content for you guys. That's what's happening. Now let's hear from Doug first. Doug, what do you got?
Handshakes were originally meant to make sure that the person you were meeting wasn't carrying a concealed weapon. The hand clasp proved that your hand was empty, and shaking was meant to dislodge any weapons hiding up the sleeve.
Good grief. I hope Doug is causing all of you the best grief. So in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about AI. No Elon Musk, I don't think. Maybe there'll be a surprise in the middle. Some sad stuff from MIT. Interesting news about Steam in China. Nintendo's new Super Nintendo thing, and I'm so puzzled as to why people are excited about that. First off, let's start off with mind-reading AI and a very misleading article here on Digital Trends talking about, oh God, they're going to be able to read your mind. So over at Carnegie Mellon University, which is in somewhere in Pennsylvania, they're hiding somewhere there, they have developed a method to look at brain scans and tell what you're thinking using artificial intelligence. So that part's really, really kind of interesting, scary, and awesome at the same time. But I want to point out that this is a pattern recognition, AI that's happening right here, because they're feeding it set sentences and they're listening for those sentences, and it's able to, listen and hear back what's going on and predict what sentences are being thought about based upon the activities in the brain. But this is not something that's looking at the brain and saying like, oh, we know exactly what you're thinking. They are using, learning algorithms, and they're feeding it all kinds of stuff. So this is something that could grow, but right now it's mostly pattern recognition and not true creepy artificial intelligence that can look at the stuff that's happening in your brain and be like, you really want a pizza. You really want an apple pizza. You really want 2 apple pizzas, you glutton. But you can't eat them, but you'll try. It can't look at your brain and tell that. Sorry, Mark Zuckerberg, you're not going to be able to sell any Apple pizzas at the Pizza Huts based on brain scans. But there's another way that you can sell Apple pizzas to people, and that's based upon household activity. So Facebook is now looking at all the different connections. So just be mindful of this when you're connecting to Facebook. If you connect to Facebook and then someone else connects to Facebook in your house, it's going to start collecting that data and being like, okay, well, these guys live together. And so if your girlfriend or that weird, creepy person is always over at your house playing video games and you can't figure out how to get rid of them because you're too nice to say go, well, if they're always there and they're always logging into their social stuff like Facebook's going to grab all that data, and it's going to say like, okay, all these guys are in the same household. So when marketers come and they say like, hey, all right, we want to market to this guy. Well, Facebook's going to say like, all right, well, this guy that you want to market to for your new action figures or whatever the hell you're selling, well, he is 13 years old and does not have a job. However, he lives with Bobby and Sally, his parents. They have jobs and money. So why don't you market to them and put it on their Facebook feed? Like you can market to the whole household, and that way, when they hear this kid talking about this new thing that they think is, just over their head, and he's talking about it at the dinner table, oh yeah, this new action figure, and you hear everybody going like, yeah, son, yeah, whatever. Or this new video game, yeah, son, whatever. Now you're going to start seeing that on your feed, and you'll be like, wait a minute, Tom Bombadil, our son here, turns into a bear on the weekends, but our son here really wanted this thing, and you'll hear it and you'll buy it. So it's a new way for Facebook to market, and another way for them to invade your household and find everything that's going on about you. And that's just the way of it, unless you're using some sort of a VPN to obfuscate yourselves on the internet. I always advocate practicing safe browsing. So VPN's always the way to go. Right now we have private internet access over on our website. And you click on that, we get a couple pennies a month. So thanks very much for that. The internet and smartphones and all that kind of stuff has really changed the way a lot of industries work. Like first off, you have like the taxi cab industry. Uber came along and just disrupted it. And then you got a lot of angry taxi drivers being like, these fucking Uber, I'm gonna kill them. They're all angry and that sort of thing. And then you got Airbnb coming along. And Airbnb came along and disrupted the hotel industry. And you got all these hotel executives being like, this fucking Airbnb thing, I'm gonna have to kill them. So they're angry because they're coming in and disrupting and allowing basically users to get together, buy and sell to one another, work together using an app instead of having to go to a big facility or go to a big major company and get your power. Now, a company in Brooklyn called LO3 has started putting together these like microgrids. We're talking like 300, 400, 500 houses, whatever. And they got all the solar panels on the ceiling. They go door to door and be like, hey, you got a bunch of solar panels on your brownstone over here. Well, check it out. We got this thing here that allows you to sell your excess power. Normally, it would go back to the grid, and then PG&E or whatever your power company would pay you for putting money back into the grid or give you a discount or whatever. But now they're saying, listen, your neighbors next door, well, we can put these little smart meters all over the place. We can send the power all to them, your excess power, and then they can pay you for whatever they use. And then if you're one of the neighbors and you got the app and you're like, oh, I really want to cash in, or I really want to not cash in, I really want to get some of this green power going here. Well, you can look at it, and if the green power is more expensive, you can adjust and say like, well, okay, I want to get some from the grid here from the power company. I want to get some from the solar panels, and sort of make something that fits your budget. In the future, this could be the new way we power things. Just, solar panels everywhere. Everyone's roof is solar. And then if someone's unable to have solar, or maybe they live in an apartment building where they don't really have the means or access to putting stuff on the roof, well, they can, use this app and just start buying energy from their peers. Now, the real question is, how long is this going to go on until the power companies show up at the local mayor's office, at the congressperson's office, and say like, what the hell? This stuff is coming along, and now we're having to change our old business methods to meet the modern world, and we don't want to change. What we'd rather do is pay you to keep the shitty systems as shitty as they always were so that we can make the most money. So can we pay you guys a lot of money? And that'll work for a while until it hits a breaking point when those companies can no longer hold on, and then they either are forced to change or go out of business. But right now we're going to hit that roadblock in a lot of places first. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think the Bible Belt is going to be really resistant to this kind of thing, mainly because the energy companies down in that part of the world, the local industries really have a grip on the politicians and that sort of thing, more so than they do in some of the northern states. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe that's where a lot of the coal and oil and stuff comes from. So there's more of a presence there. But let's just watch and see what happens. Could be an interesting thought. NVIDIA's AI. They come up with a new AI made for coding called Codota. So Codota, basically it's like your little co-pilot while you're coding. It sits there on the side. I'm not going to go into this much because it just came out. And if you're someone who likes to write code, you should try it out. I don't really write too much code, but basically it sits there. You can use whatever IDE you want. And then as you're programming, it pops up with suggestions to fill out the phrase or possibly even the next several lines of code. And it uses this based upon lots of learning algorithms. It looks at tons of different code from tons of different sites. It works with all the different repositories out there. And it can make coding way quicker and also more streamlined with fewer errors. So you start writing a little bit and it's like, oh, I think you're trying to write this. Is this the function you're looking for? You grab it and you throw it in there. It looks pretty cool. If you're a coder, this could be a way to make your life a little bit easier. I'm not sure if there's any caveats or any downsides to this, if it makes the code more bloated, or if it's going to make code too easy. I know a lot of people out there complain when script kiddies can make video games and stuff like that with, oh, they don't even have to do code. Is this going to be in your, in the coders out there, developers, is this going to be negative in any way, or is this going to enable people who shouldn't be making code to make code? These stupid people are out here making code when they don't even know how to write code. Is it going to enable that kind of stuff? Is that something you think is awful? I don't know. Let me know. Guys, MIT's counterculture dorm is closed down. Really kind of makes me feel funny, but here's the deal. So if you're familiar with the culture at MIT at all, MIT is one of the best institutions in the world when it comes to information technology, science and all that sort of thing. It's in Massachusetts, and they've got this notorious or nefarious or, I don't know, dorm on campus. It's called the Senior House. Now, the Senior House is basically where all the rebels and misfits and people who don't fit in, they go there. And, the halls are just like painted up with murals and graffiti and whatever. I don't know. It's just like the miscreants and all the people who don't really fit into the rest of, I guess, the rest of the university. They go there. Now, there's been some brilliant minds that have come out of there. People who have, gone on to work at Google and Apple and all these major companies. People who have just been huge in the industry. They decided to shut this down over allegations of all kinds of, terrible things happening, but mostly because they said, hey, there's kids using drugs over there, and they went out and they found some drugs. So they decided to shut down this entire counterculture element. Now, I'm going to argue in favor of the counterculture. What in the fuck? Even though, compared to the rest of the school, the graduation rate is like 60% in this dorm, whereas it's like 84 in the other dorm, I think a lot of the kids that are in this dorm would be wasted if they were institutionalized. A lot of the people here are the people who could either become, society's outcasts, just pieces of shit that float around and mooch and whatever. They could become that. But, I mean, it's like a high-risk, high-reward scenario here with these guys. So you got some that actually could just be tinkerers, hackers who just never click, never fit in. That's sad. Or you could have some of the other ones who are just geniuses that don't exactly fit into the mold and can't really confine themselves into a box. And those are the ones you're going to be doing a disservice to, MIT. They need a space where they can really be themselves. I mean, the place has kind of changed from like sort of aggressive to, back in the day, like 70s, whatever, really sort of an aggressive place to like, yeah, we're the miscreants, to like sort of a place now where it's like, everyone is welcome, an open-minded dorm that's less aggressive. But still, it's been a haven for the social outcasts and the people that don't fit in. The people who, I mean, look at some of the major people out there like Jobs and Gates and all those guys. Those guys did not graduate. And like some of the biggest people out there didn't actually graduate. So I'm not sure if those graduation numbers, I don't know. I feel like college is more of a place to get together and meet people who you could create future projects with. Some people do need to be institutionalized, and so there are people now who need to be cogs in the machine. I mean, that's just something, the way society's built. We need that. But in the future, AI will take care of a lot of that stuff, guys. I want to know what you guys think about the fall of MIT's counterculture dorm. I think it's a freaking sad day. Have you seen the time, Justin?
It's Rant 30.
Yes, it is. So, this is not the tech, but it is Tech Syndicate, and we're going to bring Rant 30 back. Right now, I'm going to rant about Canada. Canada, you do not own the internet, but you think you do own the internet. So Canada's top court has ruled that Google must block some certain search results globally, not just in Canada. So here's what happened a while back, and I'll try to make this as quick as possible. One company was making a device, and then they were working with another company, and that other company took some of their technology and slapped their sticker on it and made their own device. And that one company was like, hey, this company's infringing on our shit. They went to Canadian court, and Canada was like, told Google, block all that stuff. Just block it. Don't let people see it. So Google blocked it all in Canada. The Canadian Supreme Court came back and they're like, no. You didn't understand us, Google. When we said block it, it's still on the internet. We can just go to USA, we can get on a VPN and go to some other place in the world and we can still see this stuff. So that's not cool. You need to block it globally. Now let me tell you why this is a very slippery slope, Canada. You start blocking things on a global level, and if you can force yourself or force the enforcement, it's going to set a really rough precedent. So you're Canada, right? And you're like, oh, we're Canada. We're the good guys. We would never do anything bad. Okay, sure. Let's look at some other countries in the world. Let's say, like, Saudi Arabia. Let's say China. Let's say Pakistan. That's how you say it. Say Japan. Let's say Korea. They all got together and like, whoa. We can do this now? We can tell Google to stop indexing things in their search engine? It's that easy? Well, hell. Here's a huge list of all the stuff that Google, you got to block this globally. And now we're dealing with internet censorship on a global level. Oh shit. Now what is really going on here, guys? Let's talk about that. So Canada, right? They have been working with Theresa May behind the scenes. And it seems weird because the two governments are so different right now. Canada is hip and young and they're like all about internet and all that kind of cool stuff, but really, Theresa May's been, she appears stupid, but she's really like, doing the whole like lightning fingers thing. Like, yes, to anyone who gets in her way. And she has been fighting to remove general esoteria or anything that really makes me uncomfortable from the internet. It's all about the upper crust in Britain and their level of comfort. Let's just face it, most culture really starts in London. I mean, a lot of the new styles and hairdos and stuff, a lot of that starts in London, sometimes New York, but I mean, really, London's the epicenter when it comes to starting global cultures and styles and trends. It's become a little less so lately, but right now they're trying this new thing where they're like, you know what? We need to be comfortable. We're the upper crust, and we don't want to go anywhere and be uncomfortable. That would be mind-boggling and vexing. We don't want that. So right now they've got this new thing going on where they figure if they do it, people are going to revolt. They've already done enough. But Canada is like the most innocent thing. They're just so sorry about everything. And nobody would ever expect them to do anything harmful to the globe. No, not Canada. So they're like, Canada, can you guys just get this started for us? And then after that, we'll have a couple other countries do it, and then we'll come in with our giant list of all things we feel are esoteric and out of limits, just completely out of bounds. That's really what's happening here, guys. It's a comfort level thing for the Britons. And they've got their hand outstretched across the ocean, and they're tickling Canada, forcing them to do some things. This is all true. Let's talk about games. No, let's see what you're playing first, and then we'll talk about games. How's this thing work? When did they add aliens to Left 4 Dead? And why does this look so freaking good?
This is Earthfall.
I'm pretty sure this is Left 4 Dead.
It's Left 4 Dead inspired, but this is aliens, not zombies. See the alien? That's an alien, not a zombie. But it has pretty much the same, like, spitters and very similar in a lot of fashions. What's kind of nice about this one is that instead of having, whoa.
Oh, that was
a sapper.
Not a sapper, not a spitter?
Nope, not a boomer.
Boomer, yeah.
Yeah, sapper.
So sappers are boomers.
Pretty much. Okay, why am I just like continuously dying?
You're in the sapper sap.
Oh.
Is that a tank?
Sure looks like one.
Or what do they call them? Are you actually trying to hatchet that damn thing?
Hell yeah, I am. It's tough, but like the AI in this is exceptionally stupid. Like your team players, there are so many times where you'll be seeing these giant hordes of aliens come and you'll be like, oh, fuck. And then you'll see your teammates that'll be like, let me just stand right in front of you. Oh, there's threshers coming? They're just like, oh, let me get in your line of fire. Don't shoot teammates, jerk!
So who's this for? I think fans of Left 4 Dead should pick it up?
Yeah, I think with a couple of updates, this might be something a little bit more solid.
Sweet, couple updates, couple friends, try it out.
Yeah. We need more people, though. We need more people than AI on a team to make it work.
Let's talk about review bombing for just a moment. So there's a new phenomenon on Steam where I guess it's not really that new, but people are using the review system as a way to protest, make political statements. And we've seen it in a huge way right here with Nier Automata that just came out in China with no localization options. And look at the reviews right here. So we got spikes, and then the day it comes out in China, people want to download it in China and they look at it and they're like, what the hell? I'm not sure how you say that in Chinese, so I can't do it. And on that one day, just huge spike in negative reviews. So that happens in China. By the way, China is now the second biggest in the world for Steam activity. The third biggest overall for Steam users, behind Russia and the USA. So China's getting up there. But what happens when China gets huge? Because they're a PC gaming culture, really. I mean, they've got more PC gamers in China than there are humans in the USA. They have more PC gamers than we have humans in America.
Fucking lot of people.
All right, so I want to know, what do you think about using the review system as a way to protest, like they did with Rockstar, saying no more mods?
Yeah. Once they got 52,000 or some obscene huge billions of numbers, that they were just like, well, we're sorry.
Yeah.
So
it kind of forced them to move it back in the other direction because now they've got mixed or overall negative reviews or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's that. The other thing
that's
is
a dangerous precedent.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is imagine indie developers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So an indie developer makes something and maybe something they made doesn't work in China, which is now a big audience, and even though it's a great game, it just doesn't work. Maybe it does Chinese localization, something like that, and boom, now it's got overwhelmingly negative reviews because China just completely review bombed it.
Or people that can't tell the difference between a pre-alpha and a finished product.
Right.
And so they're like, I'm going to downvote this to hell even though it's in pre-alpha, and then all of a sudden indie games aren't even getting up off the ground.
Guys, localize your games for China unless you want to get downvoted. That's what it's telling me right here. All right, speaking of beta and alpha, player unknown, the guy said that they are going to be releasing on Xbox One, right? And they want to allow the Xbox One players to play on the same server as the PC players.
You're welcome, PC players. Congratulations.
Free fodder.
Yeah, right?
You may kill
Well, they're slowly turning. You're going to be able to knock 3 shots into their head, and...
Well, here's the thing. They said
You're welcome.
They're going to have to figure out something, so they're throwing out ideas like aim assist for console. What do we do? Is it going to be like Metroid where you hold down the L or Z button or whatever and it auto aims?
zooms on the guy?
I don't know.
Well, that seems cheating.
I mean, it'll probably just be hey, you get close enough and it'll kind of lock to them or whatever.
I mean, it always goes back to the mouse versus mouse and keyboard versus controller argument every single time. Like that's always what it bottom lines out to.
Here, I'll just lay it out right now. This game ain't gonna work on Xbox. I don't know how they did that. They made the Unreal Engine
figured out how to like actually revive people from all angles yet. So
like some angles you're like, I can't revive you. I'm sorry, I've got to go around.
meanwhile, your friends are like, revive me! Holy crap, revive me! And you're like, okay, I'm trying. You need to just chill
Take
for
it
a
fire,
sec.
take it fire.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I've been trying to revive you for 10 seconds.
This is why we can't get chicken dinners, people.
All right, this thing here.
Yeah, so Super Nintendo is releasing the Super Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition. Woo! It's $80 for like 30 games that you could get an emulator for and play.
I mean, most people already have these games in their collection,
Yeah.
right? So the legally gray area, yeah, you guys can emulate this stuff.
So they're trying to be like, well, but you get Star Fox 2, which has never been released officially. But you know, people they're like, oh, so you're getting all these really great ass games that you love, like all these classics and stuff like this for $80 freaking dollars.
So the thing that really gets me with this whole entire thing is, okay, yeah, it's cool, it looks really cool, it'll be a collectible item. People are freaking out about this thing.
Yep.
They're just like losing their shit over this, like, oh my god, 20-something-year-old games that we played a long time ago. Now we can go out and rebuy the same games that we have in our closet. This is amazing. I can't wait to go rebuy these games. Let me tell you something, guys. You can take a Raspberry Pi and you can build your own system. The only thing is you won't be able to have these exact controllers, but you can get really nice Super Nintendo USB controllers online on Amazon or something like that. Or you can wait and get our controllers.
Yeah. That go with
our thing.
Yeah.
That's coming out before this, probably. More powerful.
Yep.
Like 30 different consoles, plus DOS, plus Scum VM. So yeah, I think you guys will like that.
Yeah.
It'll be out soon. Or you can build your own. When I'll tell you guys how to build your own, and be like, or you can buy the one that we made. But the one we made's better for a certain reason.
Buy the shirt. Or don't. Whatever. I'm not the boss of you.
Yeah.
See you.
If you want to get your shit together, you slob. Bye. You know what I say in the locker room?
No, because I've never been in the locker room with you.
Let's go to the locker room.